Welcome to Live and Learn. Today in Germany in the one and only Schloss Hotel Berlin. I'm sitting down here with Olivia Meissner, the new general manager. Olivia, thank you so much for having us here.
Of course, it's a pleasure to welcome anybody who's a fan of the Schloss Hotel.
It's unbelievable. The funny part is and we talked about that previously a little bit, is I have a little bit of history with this hotel actually. And when I came out here, I was talking that to my wife and I said, I really need to stay here. Because you guys, back in the days, when I was working as a bellboy at the Steigenberger Hotel, whooped our asses. Like, unbelievable. And it was Joachim Löw that ended up staying here with the German team, and he was with you guys and coached them on the field. It's unbelievable. But he was not the only one that stayed here. You had quite a lot of celebrities staying here over the years.
We do. So we've had the German national team back when the VM was here, and we've also had the Austrian team staying with us. Unfortunately, that was all before I was here, so I didn't get to meet them and host them personally, but I've heard great stories. So my team keeps telling me how great they were, and they were best friends with the chefs of the team. So it was like a great spirit back when they were here.
Yeah. So for you, you said you just joined like a year ago, a little bit over a year
March
ago.
2025, so still quite fresh.
And you're young. Like, how does it feel for a 30-year-old to manage an over 100-year-old hotel?
I feel like it's the perfect combination of young and old, and it gives the property a new perspective, a fresh wind, and a lot of things I feel like have been going very smooth because I approach things very differently.
Mm-hmm. And you're very eager because you speak 4 languages, 3 pretty fluent, and I think it's French so-so?
French not so good.
Not so good?
But also pas mal.
What is that?
Not bad.
Oh, not bad.
In French.
I don't even speak So were you always a driven?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
My parents moved around a lot, so in the end I went to, I think, 7 different schools. So I had to adapt very early.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it, in today's day and age, it's a great advantage. Because you change depending on your environment and you adapt super quickly, and you also learn to deal with so many different personalities, which in a hotel is just essential.
Including your own. How many there are?
Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
Mostly Munich area, but then when I was 12 years old, we moved to Italy due to the job of my dad, and I graduated high school there, and then returned to Munich to do an old school traditional apprenticeship in a 5-star property, which to this day has been the base of my knowledge of everything
Where was that?
I'm doing now. It was the Königshof, run by a Munich old traditional family, and I had a maître in the restaurant, and he was literally measuring with a linear the space between the cutlery and the end of the table. That's how accurate my apprenticeship was.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like we're coming from Canada. The level of service you guys provide here in general, or how you learn, is unbelievable.
It's crazy, right? And I think that's what makes us very unique, but also it's the combination that I'm trying to kind of establish here with the team. We know these levels of service and these standards, but we're also adapting with the time. Because I think the term luxury is redefining itself every day at the moment. And some customers really appreciate if we work with this accuracy, like measuring the distance. But others are way more casual and much rather have a very personalized service. And for them, it's not about the space, but it's about the experience they have.
Mm-hmm. I did notice actually a few details here, and I was sharing this with my wife too, is that we were sitting in the lounge and the waiters were speaking German to each other, and then they acknowledged that we spoke English. And they automatically start talking English to each other. I was like, this is unbelievable. Where we're from, they just talk whatever monkey language they do. But it's the small little details that actually you still embed regardless, right?
Yeah.
So we're from Canada, we're traveling the world. How many Canadian guests do you get here on average?
We have quite a few.
Yeah.
In general, it's a wide variety that we have. Overall, it's still mostly German guests that we get here. I'm going to say from the Germany region, also including Austria. But we have a couple of Canadian guests. And
How do you find that when a Canadian person comes out here and you have experienced, may or may not have experienced some of them there, what are they walking in towards? Like, do you see their jaws open? They're like, what the fuck?
yeah, it is quite special. And I was considering how we could like make a bridge to Canada. And luckily, I've been fortunate enough to stay at the beautiful Banff Springs
Banff Springs,
the
Fairmont.
Hotel.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a bold statement and call it like the very, very little sister of the beautiful property, because it's another castle and it is a stunning property. I still walk in here every morning like, wow, how is this the place that I get to spend every day at?
Yeah, it is, you absolutely sure. And even the neighborhood,
Yeah.
like the forestry, the neighborhood where you live in, the houses in the neighborhood, it's unbelievable.
Stunning, right?
It's unbelievable.
And I think what's really great for our Canadian guests, but of course for all other guests as well, is you can choose the tranquility that you have out here in the Schloss Hotel, but within 10 minutes, you're in the hustle and bustle of Berlin and you can experience the craziest things that you want to see here.
Which we actually did yesterday too. And you're absolutely right. It was 11 minutes. We came, Nussbäumerin.
Yeah.
We ended up to the...
Crisp place.
Oh my God, we had this amazing dinner.
Yeah.
And within, I think the navigation was like 11 minutes, we're back at the hotel.
Yeah.
And peaceful, and you sleep so well, and everything is stunning.
It's the perfect combination of you can experience Berlin, but you can sleep in your peace and quiet area.
So with you now starting, you want to put your own touch onto like leave your mark, leave your mark. You just recently also were nominated top 40 under 40.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Who nominated? How did that actually happen?
I don't know. It was, I think I must have said the right things to the right
To
people.
somebody. Next thing you know, you're like Tagesspiegel. I was like,
Yeah, no, it was very cool. It was very unexpected. We started last year kind of with a big bang and had a couple of press events, so I would assume one of them liked what I said. I like to especially talk about modern leadership, because I think that's essential, and the hospitality industry, probably in Canada as well, is facing a lot of challenges.
yes.
Staff shortage being one of them. So I like to think that I can make a difference by being a young leader, but also being transparent, communicating in the right ways, and valuing your team members, because I wouldn't be sitting here and nothing of anything I do would be happening without the team.
I agree. It always comes down to the people behind
Absolutely.
you or that work with you.
Yeah. So, and I think if you're being a human and not thinking you're superior to them or you know more, it's not about that. It's about appreciating them and enabling them to give their best.
Mm-hmm. So when you say that you incentivize them, do you like communicate more with them? Do you have gatherings with them?
Yeah, we do gatherings. We have monthly head of department meetings. We always have an everyday morning meeting. So it's really about encouraging them and involving them, exactly. So I never say, no, we're not doing this. I always explain them why, and I always try to involve them in the process of like, okay, I'm not going to say no immediately. Let's see how we can...
But later.
Potentially. But some of the times I have to say no. That's also part of the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I try to involve them in the process and be like, look, this might be some of the reasons why we can't do it in this way, but let's try this direction.
Kind of. When I was, as I was saying, actually this was the most surreal moment yesterday. Most surreal moment. I'm going to get back to what I was talking about. But when I was a bellboy, the majority of people that I worked with or we worked with in the community were very money driven or motivated by money. That's not the case anymore. People I find are more motivated by, let's call it in North America, we call it work balance. Not that there's such a thing, but it's more about involving them, having them part of the conversation. The outcome might be still the same, but they were still part of it.
I think purpose is also a great word a lot of people are looking for. And I think if they're feeling seen and they feel like they can make a difference in their property, in their company, I think that's more than money can pay for.
You're absolutely right, and I see it every day, including my own children. Like, the more they're part of the conversation, the more they feel appreciated. Yeah. While back in the days, you just threw a few dollars at everybody and they were like happy. All right.
Yeah.
But this is the funny part, is because I worked yesterday, went to the Steigenberger, which is now the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
And the guy I worked with there as a bellboy 30 years ago, Tarek, was still working. He's retiring. It was the most surreal. He looked at me. He was like, and he recognized me from 30 years ago. It was unbelievable. But we had this kind of bond back then too, and that carried on. It's just, I hope you have that same situation 30 years later.
Well, let's see if I'm still here 30 years, but I actually have a bellboy and a concierge who have been here both for almost 30 years.
Really, eh? That's but it also speaks for the loyalty for the employees.
Yeah.
It's very different. Like in North America, you see a lot of people jumping back jobs, professions. Although in hospitality, it's very common.
Yeah,
you just keep going. But for having people like working here this long speaks for it.
Yes,
I would
absolutely.
think. And you want to encourage that further, right?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I'm trying to build up a team that works together, but also stays together, you know?
So with over 100 years old building, what are the challenges you're facing sometimes?
I like to call her the old lady.
The old lady. Yeah.
She's a challenge. Yeah. I mean, it's most of the building is historic elements, like we can see here in the background. It's not something you just call any building company and they're going to fix you the marble.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So it's always, I'm going to say, like a very curated selection of where we choose things to be repaired, but also some of this, I'm going to say, like patina is part of the beauty of it. So it's not like we want everything completely polished and back to its original state, but it's a thin line where you decide, okay, we need to fix this, but also where do we keep it to keep it as original as possible.
Yeah. So the building was redesigned, or part of it, by Karl Lagerfeld.
Yeah.
Did he just renovated a room, or did he?
He renovated bigger parts, certain rooms, and also the lobby back in the days. But then after him came another German designer, and I think that's what made, I'm going to say, the masterpiece complete, because it's been a combined work over time by Patrick Hellmann.
Yeah.
And he's really added this very modern touch to it, and he's brought in a lot of paintings, artworks, and much more of a modern design.
Down at the pool, it's beautiful. And I was thinking, this is totally another random thing. There's this silver bench you have down there when you go to the pool.
Yeah.
In Kelowna, where I live, we live, there's the exact same bench sitting at one of my good friends' entrance hall in their commercial. I'm gonna send you a picture,
Send me a
and so you're like, oh, that's identical. So
That's crazy.
It's another, but again, the modern touch he brought. But he just recently passed away, right?
Yes, unfortunately. So I've never got to meet him, but I hear great stories about him, how he's been the soul of the castle, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because he was very involved with the team and the operations, and especially the whole feeling and the ambience of it.
He did an incredible job, and I'm sure you want to, keep stuff moving on forward.
Absolutely, yes.
So you've traveled the world. You've been to Europe as well. You've been to Canada, to many, many places. What makes this place for you the most unique?
I think it's the level of service that I was touching upon earlier. I think it's the level of service that we provide in terms of we really manage to find what you're looking for. What is your personalized and preferred service style? And we will adapt to that. And I think that's what we're trying to be very specific about. So there might be one person who wants to be asked every 3 minutes by the waiter if they need anything else. But there's another person who wants to be left alone and just be checked in on a couple of times a day. And I think that's how unique and special this property is. And then, of course, you add the beautiful design to it, so that not to miss.
When you walk into the entrance and like the chandeliers in the bar is unbelievable. When we first arrived here, we sat in the entrance hall here, and people were just like a living room.
Yeah.
It felt so home.
It does feel very familiar. And because we're also a rather small hotel, we have 52 rooms and one suite that's currently under construction. But we do try to make it as homey and as welcoming as possible, because any hotel really is your home away from home. And the more you feel like you're at home, the better we've done our job.
Yeah. There is actually, when I got married to my wife, we got married at Burgschlitz up in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. And we're good friends with the owners. And they had a similar feel, not as good as you do, that homey feel. And they're gonna hate me when they see this. Elena, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Is the lounging, the sitting down, is just like home is actually a very good word, and peaceful.
I think peaceful is the most, like the word that stands out for the property, because if you're sitting on the terrace out in summer, it is one of the most amazing terraces in all of Berlin. And while the city is crowded and busy, and if that's what you're looking for, then that's great. But if you're looking for peace and quiet and a beautiful, crisp glass of Chardonnay while the sun is shining onto your face, we've got you covered.
It was yesterday morning. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was sitting out there on my computer work and I couldn't even focus. It's beautiful. You have a coffee, you enjoy the nature, and you're in the hustle and bustle of Berlin.
It's like a little bubble.
It's very sheltered off, but it feels like when we did a walk around here, peaceful is actually the best. Actually, that is a very good word to describe it. Peaceful, so good for you. Do you live then in the neighborhood too? Or do you have like...
More in the hustle and bustle.
You're more in it. So you enjoy it?
Peaceful every day here, and then not so peaceful always. But it's peaceful in the whole building, but not in my office.
No, of course, and it keeps running there as well all the time. So now the history is incredible. You have Karl Lagerfeld, you have Hellerman, you had celebrities. I think the Rolling Stones, there's some crazy stuff here.
Yeah. We've had all of them.
Who is the most famous person you've ever met or experienced?
I have to think. We've had, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
That's actually
now that I'm thinking about it.
Damn it, she caught on yours. No.
Nice try.
Good.
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose who was the most. But we do have a big variety of politicians, pop stars, but also I'm going to say, like, the German politics do come here a lot. So it's very rooted as well in the Berlin community, which it's one of my elements of my vision, kind of to incorporate this property even more back into Berlin, because it has such a long history. And we have a lot of guests who come here for their wedding anniversaries because they got married here 20 years ago. Yeah. So it's really, I want to make it a place for everybody in the world, of course, but also for Berliners to come back and experience this beauty.
And you recently just did the Catalina restaurant.
Yeah.
It's now new menu, I assume. So tell me a little bit about that.
We started with a little kind of a rebrand kind of last year. So that's why we've also had a press launch last year, but we've established that now to a very great restaurant. And we're now doing regular menu changes. So we usually have a seasonal menu. We just started our asparagus menu. This is the thing in Germany. I know. It's so popular.
It's not that popular, no.
I can highly recommend it. If you're still here for a couple of days, definitely try the asparagus menu. Yeah. The starter, my chef presented it to me a couple of weeks ago. When he gave me the plate, I was like, what is this? It was so stunning. It was a piece of art, actually. So
really? Okay, well, got to definitely do that, actually.
Yeah.
So there's, with all these changes, the restaurant, you just got another last year 2 Michelin keys.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes, it's really cool. And I'm very proud that we have managed to maintain that. It's important that you said it correctly, Michelin keys, because a lot of people mistake it for Michelin star restaurants, which is not. But Michelin keys relate, of course, to the hotel property and the rooms, and that's a great achievement. And if I look at all the other properties that have 2 Michelin keys, I am amazed that this is where we're positioned and very proud.
And just to put this into perspective, because some of the people might not know this, so there's about over 7,000 hotels that get evaluated.
I think so, yeah.
And there's probably, I think it was 570 ones that actually got 2 keys. That's not a lot in the grand scheme. So you really have to be exceptionally good.
Yeah.
So well done.
We're trying. We're doing our best.
Congratulations. No, like it is like you arrive, you get the door person comes out, helps you, lets you into the parking spot. And I find that's very wonderful. Although the difference is between North America and Europe. Everything is smaller here.
Well, we have less space.
We have absolutely, but it's like even the parking. You gotta you're driving around and everything is tiny and like we're going in a parking space, and my wife was losing her shit because it's so tiny. And she's like, "Oh my God,
That's why I don't park on our parking lot. It's too small. I don't like it.
It is small, but everybody.
Well, it was also originally built for much smaller cars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, back in when it was turned into a hotel, we all weren't driving SUVs, so the small Porsche fits perfectly.
That was actually an interesting story I read about that when it first was built by a lawyer
Yes.
that built it with his wife.
Yeah.
However, then the Kaiser came for lots of visits.
Yes. Exactly. So there is a tale.
That he fancied the lawyer's wife a little.
Apparently, yes. I don't know if you've built a mansion for your lawyer yet.
No.
But I don't know if that's still very common. But yes, there is a tale that the wife of the lawyer was the mistress.
Oh my
The Kaiser. We have no confirmation. But I always like to use it in our walk-arounds and show-arounds. It's always a nice story to tell.
Yeah. And so not only that, you had Romy Schneider here.
Yeah.
But what about ghosts? Because there's one thing in my past, I ran a bed and breakfast in Victoria. And it was very, very old too. And they were ghosts. I mean, I'm saying it like, oh, you're crazy. But I remember one unique time where I was downstairs and then one of the guests out of nowhere started to tap. And it's not a tap where you flip it open. It's one you have to screw open. So I was like, what the fuck? What about here? Is this something that's a story that was a little off?
Strange things do happen in this hotel, so I'd like to say maybe there is a ghost haunting this property. Maybe it's the Kaiser.
Maybe the Kaiser's looking for the mistress.
Exactly.
It's like, what you do?
But no stories exactly like that. But I think every old building has its own charm and element of surprise and things that you're like, how can this happen? But
I think in North America, a lot of those people might think the nostalgia of those old buildings have all these things still happening, whether it does or not. Maybe over here they're all like, you guys are crazy.
I like to add
What
a
are you
little
talking
fantasy to our guests.
Yes.
So if they want to think there's ghosts, then they should have it.
But use the story with the Kaiser, actually. That might be something, actually, they will totally eat up, actually. So we have another 6-7 months to go. What are you guys planning on the property? Like, what do you plan for it?
So I think a main part of what I'm doing is to bring back the Berliners into this property. But actually, very fun fact, we're also really looking at the Canadian market. So for us, this opportunity with this podcast today was a really great chance that we jumped at immediately, because there's also some more direct flights now from our airport to Montreal, I think, and Quebec or Toronto. So that's great for us, of course. And we're also doing a big sales tour over to Canada. So we'll be there promoting this property. So it was a perfect match.
Yeah.
But in terms of more local, I want to make sure that we keep the peacefulness, but I'm also at the same time trying to make it come to life more. So we have a big party coming up on the 9th of May with an external party company kind of, and they're hosting an event series here, which we started last year. They're called Happy People, and it's like a community event where up to 400 guests come together and party at the stunning castle.
Yeah.
Because I love the space and I want people to enjoy it as much as possible. So we're really pushing in the events element, not always big parties, but a fine selection of a party here, a wine masterclass here. We did last year in November, we did a champagne and oyster masterclass. You know, it would be such a shame to not use these beautiful rooms that we have available.
It's perfect for parties. It's perfect for events. It's like, why not? I'm sure the lawyer back in the days, he thought this was for entertaining purposes. Even in the room we're sitting in right now.
And so, you know, we should honor his wish and host people as much as possible. So we also have a great events department. So weddings, what else? Birthdays, bar mitzvahs, everything you can imagine should be taking place here.
Well, you mentioned the Canadian market. What I found when I've gotten married, and we brought friends over here, and my wife's parents were never actually in Europe. And so the moment they walk into a Schloss Hotel, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because like those modern hotels like the Hiltons, they're lovely, but it's the same shit over there. walking in here, like we were sending pictures to some of our friends that had never seen that. They're like, this is unbelievable.
It has character and it has a history that's really impressive.
If you feature that alone, oh God, the Canadians will run this place down. I'm telling you, it's truly, they're fascinated by and they're the ones that I think actually would appreciate it a little more, including North Americans, like in general Americans too, because they don't have that. Like this is unbelievable, like the beauty of it, the details. And as a matter of fact, we were at the Schloss Sanssouci, but actually how my wife said it, she was a Sanssouci. If they're pronouncing it wrong, Sanssouci. Very similar.
Yeah.
Actually, even so, he must have built it maybe with this character in mind.
He probably had a clear vision of what he was trying to achieve.
Because you have all the flowers in the doors, and the fruits goes throughout the castle, which is exactly what was it, Fritz der Alte? Der alte Fritz? Kaiser? Friedrich. I guess my hand now. So despite the fact it's an old building, it provides all the new amenities.
Absolutely, yes. So that's, I think, first of all, us as a hotel, we're constantly evolving and jumping on trends and seeing what else can we do to enhance the customer journey even more. But also in terms of the design, that's what Patrick Hellman really brought in, was the way more modern approach. And some of the paintings and photographs in the property are just, they're like, they could live, or they could be exhibited in a modern art museum.
Absolutely.
So it's the combination of the historical element, but with modern twists. And then, of course, with high standard technologies, wherever we can use them, but also facilities that work. So
the pool.
Yeah.
Used to be a bunker.
Yeah.
You think this is like in North America, it's like, what? Your pool was a bunker?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And it's stunning.
Yes.
And again, peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful.
The sauna.
And it's a perfect space to hang out all seasons, right? So we have in summer, our guests love to enjoy the outdoor garden area and chill there on their benches and on the grass, even if they want that. But in the winter, it's cozy and beautiful and warm inside. So you could really all year round enjoy all our facilities.
Yeah. So North America need to come. They will be coming. When are you going to be then in Canada?
I think the trip is planned for early June.
Okay.
And we'll be in Toronto.
You will be in Toronto. I think there's a big exhibition there.
I think, or it's organized something together with Visit Berlin, which is the marketing agency of Berlin. So we'll probably be speaking to a lot of travel agents and tour operators.
Yeah. Well, you got to come to the West Coast too, because we live on the West Coast.
Oh, I've heard where you live. I love that place actually. Kelowna is one of my favorite places in Canada. It's in one.
Oh, it's stunning. And
beautiful.
If you like the wine, there's a big wine country there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
If I would have known you're coming, I would have asked you to bring Canadian wine. It's my personal.
Oh, really?
favorite. But you can't get it anywhere because it's so little. They're not exporting it.
No. Actually, that's the one thing that pisses me off the most, because the Canadian wines are comparably, it's very expensive.
Yes.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
For the stuff that, like yesterday we were at the KaDeWe, you can buy an exceptional wine for, I don't know, $40. In Canada, you have to spend 180.
Yeah.
But again, small lots, everything a little different. But that's awesome. You've been to Kelowna. It is so. Did you stayed there a little bit?
Yeah, we stayed for I think 3 or 4 nights. Our favorite winery was the Hatch.
Oh,
so
very good.
Small boutique, so that was very cool.
And then did you go to Quail's Gate as well?
Yeah, we did Quail's Gate and another one. There's a really big one which has a very modern. Yes, Mission Hill.
Yeah, with the tower. Yeah, and actually owned by a German guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
see?
Yeah. What's his name? Van Hendel? Anthony van Hendel. Yeah, Mandel. Anthony van Mendel. Yeah, German fellow. And actually he owns another drink company that you guys might know too. It's
Hard.
Mike's Hard, but then
Neutral.
Isn't that the drink you have here too? No, it's like a vodka drink, vodka soda. Well, actually, you guys don't really drink vodka that much.
Not that much.
That's actually the other thing as well. Like, is from a North American versus with what over here, everything is a little bit smaller. except at Nussbäume, because that schnitzel was huge, actually. But North Americans, they just like to embrace a lot. Versus here, you just enjoy the little things.
Yeah. And I think in German there's a saying which is klein aber fein,
Klein.
which is like small but very unique and elegant.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect description for our property.
Yeah. Olivia, this is very incredible. Thank you so much for having us here today. I hope to see you in Canada. Hopefully we can make it over there. But thank you again for your time and for your hospitality here.
It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.